In the beginning, there was me, Dr. Roger Gewolf, the host of the Gospel According to Dr. Roger, our show, where we promise to deliver you every performance the unvarnished truth, the real story about what's going on behind the stories in the news, the people in the news, and everything else. No obfuscating, no gaslighting, no BS, no nonsense. And my guests promise the same thing. Today, we're trying something new, which I'm sure, going to continue with, and that is a debate. And we have a debate today on the very highly debated, in the UK at least, subject of whether 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds should get the vote. Now, the Labour Party has been pushing for this because they think it will give them a lot of support. But now they seem to be backtracking a bit because a recent poll actually showed that one-third of the young people that age would actually vote Reform rather than Labour. So now there's sort of tons of articles in the media that Labour may not push for that. In any event, I have got two people for you who are quite amazing. I've got Ellie, who is a sixth form, 16-year-old student. That means a high school student for you Americans watching, who is absolutely vehemently opposed to she and her peers having the vote. And then I have James, who is a 30-year-old both of them are incredibly politically astute. They're like 16 going on 35 and 30 going on 48. James is really in favor of young people having the vote, if for no other reason, because they will vote Reform, and he's a big fan because he, like so many tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of Brits, are sick and tired of the Tory party and the Labour Party and all the other wannabe parties. So he wants to get Reform in there and thinks these young people will elect them. It's absolutely fascinating. And it kind of has, to me at least, echoes reminiscent of the comments made about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris wanting immigration wide open on the border because all those people from Latin America will just flood into the States and be so grateful to the Democrats, for letting them in almost unfettered, that they will vote for them. And in fact, people were even saying there'll be no more elections, no need, because there'll just be so many people on the side of the Democrats that an election will be superfluous, redundant, whatever. What a world we live in, hey? So I am going to bring in Ellie Hodges and James Bembridge now and introduce you to them. You're going to be very impressed. There were, as I've said before on the program, where we do spend a lot of time with youngsters because they're the future. I never saw young people like this when I was their age. They didn't exist. All the young people my age were interested in drinking, sex, movies, dancing, music, etc. I don't know if it was in that order, but they really weren't interested in politics. And we have a whole slew of people these days who are really very politically aware, politically astute, and care a great deal. So maybe they should have the vote, hey? But we will see. We will see what these two have to say when they do battle. And they're very young and so energetic, it takes my old breath away. And I'm really looking forward to this. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm sure I will. Well, welcome, James, and welcome, Ellie. It's great to see you. Why don't we start by each of you telling us a little bit about yourself and why you are swimming in this particular pool, who you are, what you are, and where you are going, and why you wanted to join this debate. And then let's move swiftly to the first question, really, which is this going to be an issue, 16-year-olds being able to vote? I mean, at first this was a big labor thing, but of course they reverse their position on almost everything, don't they? And when the poll came out the other day that showed that 1/3 of 16-year-olds would vote for reform, they all started making noises, going, "Oh, maybe this isn't such a good idea." So, is this even going to come up at all in things? So maybe once you've given us a brief intro about yourself, let's move on to that question. James, shall we start with you?
Yes, I'm the deputy editor of Country Squire magazine, have been for about 6 years now, perhaps seven. Basically, I write about the low life in the Soho, prostitutes, illicit drugs, and salacious scandals, stuff like that. Stuff that no one else would dare publish, truth be honest. And from that, I got invited onto some television gigs, like I'm sure Ellie has, to talk about some of my columns and give, some insane producers, such as yourself, Roger, I might add, have, just occasionally invite me on to give my thoughts on what's going on in politics.
Okay, Ellie?
So, yeah, so I'm still a student, so I'm studying English, politics, and history. And I'm obviously very much into politics, and I'm just trying to build myself up at the moment in this like crazy world of politics and journalism. And this particular issue, I think, is really important. And as you said before, Labour they flip-flopped on it again. What a surprise! But I think that it is something that needs to be spoken about, and I'm against it. I don't think that 16-year-olds should have the vote, which many would think is quite interesting, seeing as I'm 16 myself.
And James, you're what, 30?
Uh, Thank you for saying so, but now I'm 34, actually.
34. Okay, even better. Great. All right. And Ellie, so do you think this is going to end up being an issue, or are Labour going to drop it?
Well, I think there's been a couple of things saying that Labour are going to drop it because, as you said at the start, Reform are gaining a lot of momentum behind young people, which I've seen as well. And I'm not really surprised because I think that the reason they wanted to introduce it in the first place is because, under the whole Corbyn era, there was a lot of young people that were voting for Labour. And I assume that they thought that that was going to continue. But recent polls have showed the complete opposite. So I don't know if there's going to be any more progression with it, but I'm against it anyway, so I hope not.
James, what about you?
So I'm for. Well, I used to be against it, of course, when the young used to vote for the left. But of course, now I'm for it. Now that poll that you mentioned, Roger, that was from the 1st of January this year. So well before Reform did so well in those local council elections and won Runcorn or whatever it's called. The MP, forget her name as well. You see, I'm a journalist. You see, I do know research. But I'm also for it. It's like 16 years old, you can have sex, you can get pregnant. Why not do something equally is irresponsible, like vote? Why not?
Ellie?
Well, I'm completely against it because it's not just something irresponsible. You're choosing who runs the country, and there are a large amount of 16 to 18-year-olds in this country, and I think that I'm surrounded by them, and I know that if they could vote, I don't know what would happen in this country because some of them don't even know the name of the Prime Minister. And
Really?
my
So,
uh,
some of them don't know who Keir Starmer is. Probably they mistaken for like what is it they play now? People your age, Fortnite. Probably they mistaken for a Fortnite character or something. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But I mean, can 16-year-olds be trusted to choose who runs the country?
Absolutely not. No. Like you get a few rare people that are very interested in politics. And I think more young people are becoming interested in politics. Don't get me wrong, but then there's so many people that aren't. And if you give 16-year-olds the vote, you're giving people that are, it's not just people who are doing A levels, that's people that are doing their GCSEs. And they're very much in the education system. You have to be in some sort of education until you're 18. So if you're saying, oh, you're giving a voice to teenagers, you're giving a voice to people who deserve it, you're not really, you're just giving a voice to the people who teach them.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
also teenagers are constantly moaning and whinging and babbling on about how unfairly they are treated by the system in our country. Well, if you give them the vote, then they've got no recourse. They voted for change. Let them suffer it like I have to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of young people talk about how the grown-ups, if you will, have screwed up the country for them, and their lives aren't going to be as rich in all sorts of different senses as their parents, and we messed it all up for them. Well, maybe give them the vote so they can pick the idiots that mess things up.
I just don't think I don't think it's necessary. There's not like a large amount of people that are out protesting every week for votes for 16. Like, it's just something that Labour wanted to do to make them seem more progressive and make them seem like they're, providing change. But once you give 16-year-olds the vote, there's no going back. You can't reverse that. It'll be practically impossible to reverse that once you've actually given it.
Well, what I was going to say is that even an advisor to Corbyn in that Labour government said that he was open about it. Yeah, they just wanted votes for 16-year-olds because they thought they were going to vote for Labour. I want votes for 16-year-olds. They're so easily exploited politically. I wish to exploit 16-year-olds because now so many of them wish to vote for reform. That's why I'm so pro the 16-year-old vote. And Ellie, I presume you support reform, given
Hmm.
what you've been saying. So why should you be against it?
Because you can't just like
Do
that's
your
just
duty, woman.
but then you've got no actual standpoint and no principles then. That's just like saying,
Oh
oh,
no, no, I'm completely open about the fact of having no morals or principles whatsoever.
you haven't really provided any actual points yet. Instead, it's all just been sort of, yeah.
Well, I've not heard any decent ones from you either, love.
Okay, well, I've said about the fact that they're in the education system, and that I'm guessing you already know and understand that in the education system, it's very politicized. The curriculum is politicized. A lot of teachers push their political agenda. So if you then give votes for 16-year-olds, do you not think that then they're going to be listening to
No,
what their teachers say and just voting on behalf of
no,
their
no, no,
team?
no. This is my point. They're not listening. The teachers are pushing their agendas and they're pushing young boys away from their agendas because young boys despise moralizing prigs of middle class women. They hate it.
Well, I just don't think not necessarily, because if you're not into politics, right? If you don't really care about this, it's not you're not reading about it every day. You don't care. It's like if someone started speaking to me about maths, right? I would just believe everything they're saying because I'm awful at it. I don't understand it. So if someone's then talking to a teacher, is then imposing their views onto students that don't care about politics at all, do not understand it, they're going to believe it because they don't care.
No, no. I'm sorry. You think that 16-year-old boy, white working class boy,
It's
who's
not
told
just boys that are
everything
going to
about
get
her
bullied,
is
though. You
toxic
do realise that.
by some meddling, moralizing shrew of a woman teacher, do you not think he's going to get angry at that
But
and
it's not
vote
like
against it? Of course he will.
it's not just boys and it's not just women teacher either. It's like, yeah, you stop putting it into genders. It's men and women teachers and
You,
all
you know,
students.
Do you think that politicians would pay more attention to young people if the 16-year-olds had the vote?
I think they'd pay less attention if they thought that they had their vote. They've taken for granted so many minority votes. Not saying that 16-year-old was a minority, but I think they'd pay less attention to them if they thought that they had their vote for sure. Uh, and what can they even promise them? I mean, now you've got Keir Starmer. What's he doing? He's showing that ghastly show. I forget the name even. That one where a white young boy was cast as some sort of
Adolescents.
Yeah,
sorry.
Adolescents.
adolescents.
Yeah. So he's showing that across all state schools, and it's just like that's just. Does he know what he's doing? Again, as I was saying, that's going to just further well, not even radicalize, waken up probably young white boys against the globalist establishment, North London dinner party sect class, and yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
go
I
on,
think
Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I agree with you on that, slightly on the adolescence thing. I think that I don't know why it was made such a big deal and everyone jumped onto it as if it was like the greatest thing ever made.
Only
But
seen a documentary twice.
yeah, exactly. But I think that you're focusing too much on just young boys. Like it's everyone that is going to be affected if 16
Oh,
year
yeah,
olds.
no, I agree.
Hmm.
So, Ellie, 16-year-olds can serve this country. If they can serve the country, why can they not be eligible to vote for who heads the country, who's the head of the state of the country?
Well, I think it's two different issues, and being in the army gives you good experience, good life experience. I think it teaches you a lot of good skills. Those people that I spoke to that have been in the army say that it's one of the best things that they've ever done, and it does give them experience, and does give them real life world experience as well, learning different skills, learning how to communicate with people, as well as actually being in the army. So, but I don't think it's like saying it's the same argument that because 16-year-olds can work, that means that they should vote. I don't think that's a valid argument either.
Why not?
Because you legally have to be in education until you're 18 as well. So that means you'd be working and still in education at the side. So I have a part-time job, but I'm also in education. So just because I work, that doesn't automatically mean that I should now get the vote. And when you're having a part-time job as well, you usually, especially if you're a student, you're not earning enough to get taxed a massive amount on. So even the thing is, oh, if you're working, you're getting taxed. A lot of the time, that isn't the case either.
So you say the situation at the moment is that, um, sorry, I don't understand the situation. You've got to be in work and also in education to vote. I don't
No,
understand.
no, you shouldn't be in education. I think 18 is the perfect age, to be honest. I think it is.
But really, do we wish for the educated to be able to vote? I mean, look what happened. Look at the indoctrination, the long march through the institutions, the Marxist rot that's in universities.
Yeah, I mean the university thing is an issue because obviously university pushes the woke agenda.
And many 18-year-olds have been are starting university or in university.
Okay, right, sure. But then what you say that then the voting age should be put
I,
to
yeah.
25.
I think we get to them while they're young, before they go through the university rot.
But then you're still in the education system, which means you're still going to be indoctrinated by
Oh,
teachers there.
no one listens to teachers when they're 16 years old.
Well,
I
I would say differently. Like seeing like those around me, they form their opinions based on assemblies we've had and
really.
TikTok videos.
Well,
Like, and I'm not lying.
but yeah, you say that, but Nigel Farage is very big on TikTok.
Yeah, Nigel Farage is big on TikTok, right? That's one person, although he's big on TikTok, fine. He's only going to post so many videos. You've got a whole movement on TikTok, which is left wing, got an anti-Trump movement on there, definitely. All my friends think that all women's rights are suddenly gone in America now. Um, so yeah, I don't think 16 is the right age. I think it's perfect at 18. Once you put it to 16, there's no coming back from that. Once that's in place, you can't then go back to 18 again. It won't happen. So I think that you don't, it's just unnecessary. There's not massive calls for it. No, as I said before, no one's out protesting on the street every week for votes for 16-year-olds. The majority of adults in this country don't want 16-year-olds to have the vote. So,
Well, I think my final position on this is that Ellie has convinced me that no one should vote. I think we don't need a democracy. We need a
Dictatorship.
dictatorship with the
Why?
well, young people
proviso.
want that. That poll came out saying that young people do want a dictatorship. So,
Yeah, we're heading that way, I think.
I want a dictatorship with the proviso that I'm the head of it.
Wonderful. And what to finish up, what do you want, Ellie?
I just want the voting system to stay how it is. I think that 18 is the perfect age. I think that our system of first past the post works. I think that when people call for proportional representation, they soon go back on it when their party starts getting seats. So I think the voting system is good the way it is.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much. That was really very, very entertaining. And yeah, a great first debate. And we will have you both back on again. Thank you very much. I don't know if we've resolved anything, and
No,
the vote for, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, and poor Emily's probably going to go and take a whole bottle of Valium for appearing with me now. Most people do.
Yeah, I can believe it.
I'm gonna have to go to the bottle of wine in the fridge now.
Yeah, yeah. And the question of the vote for 16-year-olds, we don't know if that's actually going to come up or not, but I think you've certainly shown both sides of the argument. So thank you very much for joining the Gospel According to Dr. Roger for our very first debate. And we'll see you both again soon.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Roger. Thank you, Ellie.